So maybe $10 something each. I think for the Bruce.
I think they're just gonna go to probably.
Daredevil races have plotted out, putting new comments.
Spaceship. Yeah. You have to innovate.
So that the next generation can see the mountain.
Oh. We need a picture here. The columns.
Yeah. 3, 2. 3, 2, 1.
Lunch. Chicken.
idea the traffic would be this bad. All you do is get through one more.
That World's Fair, architect Daniel Burnham would be in charge of creating from scratch Roman architecture in the style of Paris, known as the Beaux-Arts or City Beautiful. Michigan was built in its early days. At home, when you turn on your so you see, everything they did for that world in years from here to looking for more efficient building materials. The evolution of architectural framing occurred, Jenny, introduced the iron and steel grid frame, a tripartite division of base, shaft, and capital, every inch of broad and soaring thing. 8-point tower condominiums from 1968. That's a great example of modern form to the modernist, put decoration in the building. That's bourgeois. Third came in 1980s, post-punk electronic band that was the same thing. And as director of the Illinois Institute of Technology here, we spread the modern architecture comes on. Other Chicago from a young woman architect, Jeannie Gagnon. Louis Sullivan would say form follows function. Look at Jeannie's buildings. First they find a view like Millennium Park downtown. Then they point out that was cool, you had a view. What if the laser hit it? Still cool. Jeannie would build a balcony, even at 50 stories up. Form follows function. Now you see that quarry used by Michelangelo, completed it. 43,000 rock and crumble. It was about to fall off and hit us on the head. And you know what? A tiny piece of earth. 2 years, $80 million extra dollars. They were forced to strip the rent. Chicago, the name of the river is coming from the Native American Chicagua, which drank too much mud, let's go home. Until their river guide, a 10-year-old Native American South Branch of this river, carrier canoe, the critical link in an inland waterway system, connecting the entire continent, hog butcher to the world, with Chicago's famous Union stockyards. We use this river as a sewer that polluted the lake, our drinking water. They're using gravity as an almost mosque-like onion skin dome on our right. That is the hotel Medina Shriners, Sons of the East. And look to your right, modernist work of art, that is Big John, the John Hancock Center, at 1100 steel, not an ounce of decoration. That's modernism. 1989, Skidmore, Owings and Merrill. NBC Tower, Chicago shows offers the same architectural crews from our docks here at Michigan. Commissioned by Chewing Gum Corp. As a young man, William Wrigley Jr. had gone against downtown. That clock tower is modeled on the Spain. And on your right, like a Caribbean newspaper, 1920 time contest for the most beautiful office building. And speaking of France, we refer to our Grand Press. The bridge you might notice we named Dusable Bridge, the Eastmont Dusable. He started Owings and Merrill. And for the life of me, I agree 125 building simply by putting the spire up on the roof. Like comedy sketch, but the group that rates all the tall buildings around the globe. They see beautiful style with a beautiful building with cooler dome and water tank, deep built diamonds from Lower Wagger Drive right into the basement and auto elevation. Safety was a big issue. This was Prohibition. You could always find a drink in this town. During Prohibition, although alcohol. And on our right, it would be a modernist and all Prohibition. I bet you know Mises frame, skin your glass curtain wall, space usually a square. Unless we it's the curvilinear design. Although Goldberg had studied this marina city as a complete city, 4 restaurants, they've got a bowling alley, a swimming pool, give them 24-hour living. The river industrial, that's why you can right elements of the international style. In a nutshell, the international style. We cannot determine what the business is of the glass and steel box. By George Wise, now here by the clock tower. The tower, you're going to find this building to be, there's only 4 on the left. Now the 5th bay, now the Reed Murdoch Center had already been there for 13 years. You know, you'd think they could have just followed through. Now 300 LaSalle on your right, friend, shows a long time they forgot about the river buildings, even turned their back. Now, we would like to use this simple Chicago School 1912 Chase and Sanborn coffee warehouse as a brain. Number 1, internal called the Chicago window in the early days of the building trade. Third element of this building in Chicago's glacial soil, box-like structures built with concrete before you hit something solid. And on the right, one of the grandest examples, this is the Chicago Merchandise Mart. Largest structure in 4,000 windows, 7 miles of hallways, $82 million. Marshall Field Department Store commissioned it with $5 million in back taxes. Now back then, who do you think could afford such a big building? Kennedy was a man of action. He got things done. 6 acres of floor space he brought in the perfect lines, the furniture design trade. Welcome to the beginning of Chicago. This is Robert North Branch right. If it were the early 1829, Brook Point Tavern across the way, and at the corner of Lake Street, Native Americans, they did party together and dance on a Saturday night. Concord turned into a church for services. Most interesting early building was said to be Creole fiddle player Marc Bobier, known for saying, "I'll fiddle like a dead." What was put in 1833, 12 against 1 to incorporate. The city room. They tour the North Branch right here. Imagine, ready? Not 1, not 2, but 3 escape. Reasonable prices, cap. Best place to watch the sun go down in Chicago. What you get is where it's being. My view is about to go the way of the very first loft conversion. This is very recent. The biggest job was pulling all the horsehair. Wow.
Ballerina.
Horsehair. Can you tell this architect was a sailor? Look at the porthole windows. He's an architect, he was a sailor, and I would ask this today. The return. Singing. 100 years after. Say, records, the original source, the blue, the azure. And if you don't have it, always running through your veins. One simple economics. Remember, I couldn't afford brick or steel. And you could only rebuild, and residential living fell off the river. Now that Chicago sanitary and ship canal thing, you know, that took 8 years to dig. They took out more work than the Panama Canal. Since St. Louis had a much better idea. They sued Chicago in federal court. The University of Illinois chemistry professor proved to the federal judge, no worries. Time the dirty Chicago order made it to St. Louis, therefore I need to win in lieu of the trial. Fortunately, for most cities, you know what I can tell you? The great Federal Environmental Protection Agency even said good news. Chicago sounds very healthy, but you must understand there's so much abuse of this river. It's offhandedly. I changed my mind. Did railroads. That was a good connection. But then the railroads pretty much took over the canals. So in 1990, Chicago takes a clue from San Antonio, Texas, that if you build anywhere along the river corridor today, it's suggested setback citizen accessible, people friendly. So on the one hand, we're doing everything we can. Now it might take a little bit of time, you know. It's just like the Copenhagen interpretation of
See? So is it materialist or idealist?
Measuring the rate of change. But don't try that on your own, please. The Chicago River's now, all the yellow bricks out of Kinsey Street were put in the wrong place. Don't blame the workers. It's underneath the city of Chicago. A miniature locomotive coal train, 100 dice mark. So the workers don't even know they cracked the ceiling. Chicago River Water's leak banded train tunnel. The cable guy is laying cable. He looks up, Chicago River Water, and him saying, "Whoa, dude." One company down there, patched the leak. No more erosion in this for 4 months. All I can say is the 13th, if you'd been standing on the Kinsey Street Bridge, you would have seen the street. Really? The Sears was down. It was pulled into the Whirlpool Merchandise Mart, the Chicago Daily News building. The water traveled underground the way south to the Board of Trade. Everything was shut down. They had to close Chicago.
What up, dude?
Seesaw, easily turning on the front end with a counterweight. Move the counterweight, you can right here, you would have found a rickety wood building called the Wigwam. Erected in only 5 weeks, Abraham Lincoln received the nomination to run for the presidency.
Ooh.
You can't get much greener than taking an already existing, don't tear it down. Just have balconies for barbecues. Building with one of the highest clock towers on the planet. It was originally built Chicago. Came the railroads, all this primer magically in your pocketbook. All that brown paper. You bought breakfast. The first building to offer. Hey, here's a little bit of secrets. Chicago also became the street where approaching used to be called artists, anarchists, and the wobblies, the industrial workers of the world. Protege and lover to anarchist them was a lecture and issue a Hobo College diploma. Copy at home. Sandberg, the writer Juna Barnes, the dancer Catherine Dunham, or even the bound for people who think. They'll be meeting Saturday nights at 8 o'clock as invited to the lecture. Attend after the main speaker of the world-famous rebuttal period and say what's on your mind. One rule, they still follow the whole. Now, more about that. Talk to me after the tour. On the right, we're passing gateways. Textbook picture of architecture changing over 60s, 70s, and 80s. So it's an adjective for that really pure 60s modern look. Neoclassical top of Union Station. Please go inside. It was inspired by the Roman baths of Advanced staircases. And if you want to get your kids on take the shoreline sightseeing walk up there, and it has a 66 road marker. You want to find the beginning of Route 6? The 10th in the world today, the Willis Formerly Sears Tower. Architect features a glass floor. You enter it, you're 103 floors. Then you're 103 floors up, you're heaving it of the 110-story Sears Tower, and they gave them naming rights. And I must honor Mr. Richard Sears and Mr. Alvarova and Sears Company. I'll go into detail more, but like every Chicago, and I will call it, I guess I should let you know, when I call it the Sears Tower, I do have to practice singing. So when I say the word Sears, I think you should know I'll be using technique of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or the Paper Gym of the building. Congress Park cutting.
还没有改正。
I'm going to put forth an argument. The mail order catalog business invented right here in Chicago. Back in the day, wasn't the farm, and even without Ward and Sears, we built a Chicago. Doing big will come back bigger. 1921. It's like waiting for Godot, as our friend the playwright Beckett might say. The old building, long abandoned, sold at public auction 5 years ago. Our world is suffering right now from a terrible shortage of things. So, you know what I want to impress upon you? Chicago became the sky, so we had no choice. We were locked in the early days. The river was too hard to get back and forth. The river in those early days. The lake was on the east, south of it. And that meant if you were in business, none of this telecommuting. No, if you were in business this way, especially my younger passengers, think way back before selling. You would meet your customer not Facebook to Facebook, but Facebook. It's only a one-story building. That's why this complex would only come from Bertrand Goldberg, right? Same architect who did those. He really thought outside the box, and it would have looked quite serpentine if it was an next bridge. I'm always amused with a really loud
Parquet.
funny they were playing grass instead. Goldberg was a great thing on the bright orange color. Because when you think that the economy is farm, yes, firemen get their trucks over 1871 with days in the cow that on Redefford. Yes, the great Chicago fire started right there. Yes, there was a cow named Dick. I come before you and I say forgive me. This is over. Daisy the cow was trained. No one really knows how the great Chicago fire started. You know what they actually did? They found a piece of broken lantern and they started doing things like that. Ready? With the blue sky behind it, ladies and gentlemen, I give you. So you reduce the mass of it to be flexible. Can you follow the and still remain? Yes. I see things that what is called a sway factor. They are actually flexible. Tallest building in the world, 1974, April 1996. Tallest building in the world today. It even showed up in the last. Do not cry.
Is it albatross or seagull?
It was the tallest building in Chicago for 25 years. Who was going to see it that high up was the common thinking. But actually, in the style known as statues don't get faces. Very famous Art Deco statue is named Oscar. Trivia points. Who makes the Oscar statues for Hollywood? Now, in 1980, a world-class architect from Germany, Helmut Jahn, he added an annex to the board of glass steel modern materials. So let's go to Jahn. Postmodernism, reinterpretation of history. It's not a little bit of Jungian synchronicity. Take your thumb and forefinger. Ice building. Isn't it curious? It looks like a complete playground, if you will, with a pink record for a short while.
Do you know that?
Postmodern building, the Crown. Note the 10-story armor and 1,000 fluorescent lights inside. Right here in Chicago, it's called this building the White Castle. White Castle. It's like that rather famous Midwestern restaurant with a neo-Gothic facade. Right downtown. You will find your visitor center, the 69, 2 years before the Great Fire. Guess what? Base and height of the Sears Tower one more time, friends. And as you do, imagine you. Alondra Bearer, with their permission, philosophical interlude. What is considered the mind of building by Alondra Bearer? Bearer is behind the success of fights. Alondra Bearer, he's been trying to get over it for 40 years. So the man I'm talking about now. Yes, I speak of the architect. Wait, you're on vacation. Okay, scratch that. You don't have to do that assignment. Documentary that came out of my favorite London architect, Corbin Fawcett. 2. Why are you asking that question? In a new way, that's what Lucky Fuller asked Norman Marvelano, right, friends? This is the former Chicago work. You see the ceiling struts. You're only being supported by the load-bearing walls. They're cantilever now, right? Now you have a problem. Didn't pull those towers straight. Watch weight bring down. So during the building phase, after progressively and inversely, they rolled the towers and shifted back into the straight line. Absolutely.
Back to the opera.
Everyone asks me, why does it say civic opera? That looks like a giant armchair. That would earn this building. And a commission if Sam Insel was the king of electricity. Faces west, turns its back to the east. Oh, that's because of Sam's girlfriend. No, I mean, reading the building in the shape of a giant chair so he can turn his back on that snappy New York guy. He lived now for 50 years. And guess what? The other day, everything is true. Yes, Art Deco, right. You don't see this post-World War II office building design so much anymore. Where this came from? The Greenland River barges you're going to see on the walk are designed right there. And the whole world knows about it. That is when the labor he called it tame. He advised Captain Bonfield of the Chicago when told to exit the speakers were civilians that it was indeed a tragedy. But it was the events of the very next day. It didn't matter they were going to do something. By the labor holiday, founded right here that celebrated. Go have a burger over at the Haymarket Pub and maybe learn a little more history. Bank, which David Letterman facetiously called the Pro.
Yeah.
At that time, after he started the old A&P grocery store chain. They got separated from the main explorers. Their longer drive the roadway on our right a little bit. This was the world's phenomenon. Burnham conceived it with plan of 1909, you know? But no man is an island. Continue working with the Chicago Planning Commissions. You see, we really do use every inch of space in Chicago. The upper level will take the building through the city, and then all your physical plant in Paris on the prairie. Burnham was a student of history, in as industry, and in this recreation. He knew that would public very soon. The LaSalle Wacker building on the truth of why Art Deco ended up the opera story. And consider the reality. You had all these tall buildings go up, and they blocked the fresh air incubator. People could hardly breathe. Therefore, put in a setback ordinance. And that setback ordinance did any new property, like a chair seat almost field of color architecture. The field is something of a modern classicism. Beton brut, or 75, 35 was right around building on the right with the check of buildings in blue. This happens to be home to the Irish architect Kevin Roche with his 1989 postmodern building, Prairie School. And you see it at the very top of the picture. Fully realize this is our Illinois Vietnam War for people hanging out in public space. It's been my own open-air university. My teacher was named Son. Still looks like a bottle of champagne. That may have been made. It was designed by the World Congress. Right above it, like a rocket ship above too. Why do you think terracotta is so popular? The important thing to remember, terracotta is indeed fired clay, and that been fired. Now, artistically, if you look closely at the Wrigley building, they're used terra canvas. The key to a great artist often is in your shading for the Wrigley building. If you in 6 different colors, they actually go from a blue white to a creamer white. Bridge 2 buildings of note with a concave face, the Beaux-Arts 1923 line, 333 North Michigan Avenue, carved in bas relief. They come from the London Guarantee Code. Used to. They're almost extinct. Now, there are 2 blue bars, there are 3 white stripes, there are 4 red stars. The top, you know, the 3 white stripes of the sides of the city. It was 1893 when you visit Chicago's museum. The 1933 Century of Progress World's Fair. What do you remember the Fair of 33 dance? She showed up at the Chicago World's Fair. Yes, well. A lot of people probably like to put pants on horses. Structure. Please see that building condition. Or, if you're adventurous, go to the 94th floor observation tower. The John Hancock Center just opened. And what do you think they do? They tilt you 30 degrees. Started from the former Illinois Central. Harry Weiss, who did those charming beginning of the tour in the 1950s, he gives us the triangular Swiss.
Oh yeah.
I really don't think the architect was the synchronicity. What was really going on? Architecture never eastward even planned. So you know what he's really doing? He was affording the most certain Chicago school of the 1800s. Very popular for presidents to stop there. Art downtown, right? Because you're going to find Sullivan Center, the building that because it was done by the father of Chicago School of Architecture, Louis Sullivan. And now a word about this. If you come back down here, it shoots an 80-foot arc. A cannon will come along the Riverwalk. It goes off every day. Attended at the top of the hour. Now, you can't do it right now because the notorious phenomenon called even if that interesting sight happens to show up when we're driving something. Now, the mountain is really the centerpiece of what is called city. You might find yourself living in a world-class thinking the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. You want a good skyscraper until you come to work one day and suddenly project as of 2008. Now he's in Chicago.
What time is it?
He has a mind.
So you're eating with me and
They were inspired by privacy retained by the shallow curve. The circle at the top, which myself, on your behalf, go up there after work one night. I have come down from the mountain to tell you, absolutely spectacular, and so are the prices.
Okay.
On your right is the police marine unit. Should they ever find a new home, I will be. Since we might see a bit of the crown jewels of Chicago, museums down to things that you there. Dan Burnham's plan. Now Burnham really was. There's probably a good chance instead of Chicago City Hall, because back in the day, that's what you would do. It was renamed after. And then the pier actually was used as a naval training base. One of those pilots, of course, was former President George Bush Sr. Estimated to be 200 planes at the bottom of Lake Michigan, still from training as trade shows and events under Mayor Jane Burton's administration. In the 1980s, I myself at Chicago Fest in August 9th, the world has ever produced. That would be the late great altogether for renovation. They gutted it, they added, they rehabbed back the towers at the front, and then they made everything brand new with the skyline, and of course that Ferris wheel. So appropriate we find the Ferris wheel in Bushnell, Illinois. And did you know, he put up the first Ferris wheel. See, Chicago being Chicago, she showed up at the Paris exhibition in 1889. So, people were nervous knowing that if they'd ever taken the Ferris wheel, you could have a shot of whiskey to cool. Locks went in 1938. Never was that Chicago attitude more evident, my friends, than after that great Chicago. And you imagine the day after the fire, a third of the city gone. 17. It was that building that gave them the hope to say, we will rebuild this city. Grand ball as you disembark to say final. The river, she runs up the hill. Architecturally significant city on the face of this entire planet. New Delhi, Helsinki, London, Dublin, Auckland, Sydney, Antwerp. So of course not forget to say Moscow for one or two buildings. Hello Cleveland, is anybody home? San Francisco. I will not forget to say Jettison's, Mr. Adrian Smith is up to 280 feet. Oh, Atlanta, New Orleans, Dallas, Denver, and Detroit City will see shoreline sightseeing. If you had fun today, feel
selfie.
Yeah, just say hello to him.
3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I have.
Yeah, correct. Like, duh. So you look. You're a European cafe. Who do you think designed that?
Let's go.
So when you come back, they'll be there. You'll be like, what's the difference?
Like, really? This from a helicopter.
Oh, that was cool.
Oh, indeed. Totally.
That's actually
You can. I don't even think you can. Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
No, you're talking to me I foreigner, don't forget. Cannot be picky. Yeah, cannot be choosy. Yeah, right, yeah.
Three, two, one.
Okay. Alright, I hope she doesn't fall though. Or they. Oh, partay. My lucky. Hi, birdie. Good night.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, smile. What does that mean?
No, but you said yes. I'm happy now. You've been. I wrecked. So.
It could be. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Are you?
Really? No, I said okay. See?
Like,
I see. Hurry. Nice and breezy. It's charged.
走了很多路，没穿。知道。
Got you there on time.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Okay, yeah.
一件是买了